even if everything is going on, as we all know.
Right, yeah.
You seem
The
very
thing that
relaxed.
we shan't talk about.
The thing that we don't
Yeah,
say. How are you? Welcome, welcome. You are
thank you.
living in Portugal. You are here right now, right?
I'm in Almada, yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
Great or not so great? I don't know. Maybe
It's pretty
you've been
nice.
stuck here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just telling everybody that will be with us for this hour or so, that they can send all their questions to this question mark down here. So
Okay,
like this, I can leave you free and you can speak and you can be
okay.
relaxed. And I will try to send all the questions and the interesting thoughts that everybody will share with us here, because for sure we will have many questions. I know
Yeah,
I have many.
okay.
I, I'm always very curious.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
so I don't. You don't need to present much of your story, but if you would like to share with us, because I don't know if I don't know if everybody knows exactly about your radio program or stuff like that, and
Mm.
mainly in Portugal. Maybe they would like to hear some stuff about how did drums became a part of your story and everything.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, drums have kind of always been part of my story. I started playing when I was 15 years old. No, 14 years old. And I'm 35 now, so it's a long time.
I
Um,
was going to say like 5 years ago.
you thought I'd start playing 5 years ago?
You don't seem to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I started playing when I was 14. And it was quite natural from the beginning, you know? You know, sometimes you do something and it just feels quite easy.
Yeah.
It just felt really natural. And it just made sense for me to continue it and to like pursue it as a career. I mean, my parents weren't particularly pleased initially with the idea of their 14-year-old daughter being like, I want to do this forever. They were like, oh,
Why a drummer?
yeah, why? No, but they were pleased for me to like, they wanted me to be musical and to play an instrument. And I tried to play the piano and the flute and the guitar. I mean, I can play a bit of guitar, but I just couldn't really read the music. I was terrible. So for me, like the kind of I always think that like everybody inside is a drummer because everyone's it sounds very cheesy, but everyone's got a heartbeat and it's kind of anyone can really do it. But not everybody can play the violin or play the piano or it's sort of yeah. Um so yeah, so from like being 15 I had drum lessons for a few years. Um but I didn't want to go down the traditional route, like doing grades. Maybe it's different in Portugal, but in the UK you would start at grade one and grade two and then go up to
Mhm.
grade eight and you'd have conversations with people and they're like, oh yeah, I'm grade eight drums and I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. To me, it means nothing. Like as long as you can play in time with people and like I don't know, it doesn't really matter that kind of thing. So I kind of learned in a very sort of non-traditional fashion. My drum teacher, he was a jazz musician. Well, he is a jazz musician. He's still here. Um, and he never pushed anything onto me. He just kind of
Okay.
let me find my own rhythm and my own vibe. And I guess at the time, as a 14-year-old in the late 90s, I guess I was kind of into new metal, like kind of Britpop indie stuff, lots of American kind of um, American indie stuff, I guess, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and so I would take in Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the Red Hot Chili Peppers album.
How not to?
Oh, I loved it so much.
Amazing
And
record. Right.
yeah, so I would take that in and he would choose a song which he thought the drums would be quite challenging and we would play it really loud and he would write the notation on some paper and we just kind of learned that way. And yeah, I've always been a kind of learn by doing rather than kind of studying. So yeah, it was kind of the perfect.
It seems like a good teacher, a great teacher.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
he was good. Like, and he never made me feel like I was like I shouldn't be doing it because of my gender, you know? Like he was just like, sick, let's do this. Like, if someone wants to learn how to play drums, doesn't matter that she's a girl, or it just he was he's just cool. He was just a cool guy. Didn't give me
really,
any.
really nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking you just said something, and I was thinking, how can I approach these rhythmic questions and beats and without this cheesy, like you were saying, like, oh, drums and beats and
Yeah.
everybody has to the beat. But come on, it is what it is. I mean, it's true. I mean, rhythm is the fundamental thing. I mean, even scales, harmonic,
Yeah.
melodic things are intervals and they have rhythmic. Um, uh, I would say for me, they seem like rhythms also. I
Yeah.
also always think rhythmically. And I don't know if you do that when you play guitar, when you play something else, or a little bit further. I would like to ask you questions about your DJ
Okay.
word because I'm very
Yeah.
curious. But I would say that yes, rhythm. I don't know your opinion, but rhythm is the universal. And before you have a chord, you have rhythmic uh, notes. And
Yeah.
even if you don't know how to read them or write them, if you feel them really, we have many, many, many great
Yeah.
musicians completely intuitive, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't particularly um I'm a terrible musician, basically. I don't really understand music, like the theory of music and like the terminology and what all these things mean. So I've always just kind of thrown myself into it, and I have like a little MIDI keyboard, and I will use Ableton and just play rhythms. I mean, programming drums is so boring for me. I can't do that. I'm just like, oh my God.
For the
Ah.
music,
Yeah, it's just completely soulless. Maybe
it
some
doesn't.
people really love it, but I hate it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel
Um,
to me like music. It doesn't feel like yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, we have this joke in the band. It's not even really a joke, it's an in-joke, but about like how keyboards and pianos are, it's a percussive instrument, right? So it's quite nice, like I said, on the MIDI keyboard to just, I don't know, just kind of feel out the rhythms. And for me, with the rhythms, it's kind of the space in between that
Hmm.
I enjoy the most. Does that
Hmm.
make sense? So
Yes, for me, completely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like you'll be sat behind the kit or whatever, and you're just playing a beat, and it's the thing that you leave out for me that I find like the most exciting, like that
Yeah.
kind of
Of course.
how you kind of space everything out and what needs to go in that in between bit. Like I never really got excited about ghost notes and stuff. I don't know why. I just think it's too like, oh, just leave that space, just leave it, you know?
And mechanics and maths and like six and sevens
Yeah, oh God.
and it always ends up feeling a little bit like what it is, like seven, like
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and you sometimes you tend to forget that bucket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you think about amazing, amazing, amazing
Mm,
songs, famous beat songs, everybody danced to those songs, like
yeah.
Prince, I know, Michael Jackson, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Always so much space. Bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam. Nothing happening there. Nothing's like.
Yeah.
But people tend to, and students mainly. I work with people learning drums for many years, and
Mm,
that's one of my biggest concerns. Silence is a big
yeah.
part.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have too much, for me, too much sound is noise. Like
I
whatever,
agree.
whatever, whatever the thing is, rock or jazz or
Yeah.
whatever. Uh,
I mean,
I,
I can absolutely appreciate it, the big pop drummers, like the guy that plays for Katy Perry, Tony Royster Jr. Do you know, have
yeah,
you
yeah,
heard of him? Yeah, I
yeah.
mean he's incredible, right? But when you kind of watch him play, I just think, oh, can you just like just bring it, just I don't know, just chill. Like, and I absolutely appreciate it. And I watch him and I'm just like, holy shit, you're amazing. Obviously, I can
Yeah.
never drum like that, but yeah.
And it's so I think it's so interesting that I've been talking to many people. I just started a YouTube channel, and I've been talking to Portuguese musicians,
Hmm.
and now I will be talking to many friends across the globe and about about these things. I mean, people tend to stand on we tend to have a yes or a no, and everything goes. Of course, everything goes
Mm.
whatever goes for you. But we tend to reach this conclusion that you need to be musical. Whatever you do, you need to be musical, and you need to
Mm.
feel good, and you need to attach, because whatever you do, it doesn't mean specifically that it's technique or whatever,
Yeah.
but I think most people agree on this, and we started speaking about this with no prejudice, like no
Hmm.
technique versus musicality. For example, for me, it's the same. For example, when I see you play, you have an amazing technique for what you do. It
Yeah.
works
Yeah.
nice. It's you. If it was someone else, it wouldn't be the same.
Exactly.
So this is what I love truly about music, and this is why I'm doing this stuff with many people,
Hmm.
talking, sharing
Yeah.
for my students, for everybody's students, and
Yeah.
we need to open up and stop saying like that. It's not. It's just what you said. It's amazing. I
Hmm.
think I agree totally. I'm just gonna check for some questions
Oh,
because I
yeah.
know I have many fans, many fans in
Oh, hello,
Portugal,
everyone.
and so we have a question over here. I will stop seeing you for a sec. But this Instagram is going quite crazy today. What? What? There's a question about, do you spend a lot of time tuning your drums? Do you tune them to sound specific sounds for specific things, or go with the flow?
I um I tend not to spend too much time tuning. I like to have my drums sounding quite low on the scale.
Okay.
I like kind of 13-inch rack toms, 16-inch rack toms, just a
Okay.
standard 22, like kind of vintage sizes, you know, like 22-inch kick. And but I like everything to sound really low and deep.
Okay.
Same with the snare drum as well. I kind of like a deeper snare drum, like maybe 6 inches or 6.5 inches. I mean, that's not that deep really, but again, like I'll kind of like I'll just like bring it all the way down, you know? Um,
That's right. It's
yeah,
really nice, and it's really nice to do beats with when you have electronics going. It's really nice, I think, to
yeah.
and have a nice flow. We have some more questions. Uh, everybody, this is a very common question, but
Okay.
I think you spoke a little bit about this already. But if you
Mhm.
couldn't play drums anymore, what would you choose to play instead?
Oh, I mean, guitar. Like, I love playing the drums. I love it, and I have no regrets whatsoever. And like, but like when I'm sat there and it's like the middle of a tour and I'm sat there and I'm playing and I'm like looking at the boys in my band and I'm looking at their sweaty asses. And like, I mean, they're beautiful sweaty asses, but like they're kind of like stood up, they're moving, they're kind of jumping around. Like Benga, our bass player, will jump on my drum riser and then jump off, and I'm like, I want to do that. Um,
I'm stuck here.
yeah, well, I'm more than happy being where I am, but yeah, definitely guitar, and I would definitely
Mm.
throw myself around, I think, a bit.
I don't know if you want to share or if you remember. I'm kidding. Because someone is asking how did you guys meet in Metronomy? How the story how was it?
Well, Metronomy already existed as a three-piece.
Hmm.
I was in a band previous to Metronomy that actually supported Metronomy at a really, really small venue in London, in South London. It was crazy. It was such a crazy gig. Like Metronomy didn't have a drummer; they had a laptop, and there was like a huge stage invasion, and everyone was just going crazy, and the laptop stopped working, and I was just like, who are these guys? Like I honestly didn't like. I knew Joe. Joe and I had sort of bumped into each other around London in the previous years. You know, I mean, the scene in London around that time was like pretty exciting. It was kind of like the in the what do they call it? Like the new rave, I guess. Like It was the summer of new rave with the Klaxons and Foals and all that kind of stuff.
I heard the
Um,
stories.
yeah, exactly.
90s.
But um, but I was still in that band at the time, the band Lightspeed Champion, and um, Joe, so that band finished, and I didn't have a band, and I was in London, and I was like, I needed to earn a living, so I got a job at the Science Museum in South Kensington. And yeah, I was just like, I was getting really sad that I didn't have a band. You know, I'd been on tour for a year and I was like, oh no, now I'm just working. I don't want to do this. I want to play the drums. And then I'd gone to the supermarket after work to get some dinner, cook some dinner, and I got a text message and it was from Joe asking if I wanted to play drums in Metronomy. And I was like, yeah, all right.
Let me think.
Let me think about that. And it was like really cold and wet, like a really horrible English winter. I was just like borderline, just like, oh God, just like depressed.
You were
Yes.
you were jumping outside the window and the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Yes. Yes. I didn't even try and be cool. I was just like, yes,
okay,
I will do it.
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Let me check for some more questions. I have some questions in my mind, but this icon, okay. Let me choose many questions.
Great.
There's a funny question. I like this question. Do you
Okay.
still set your drums before concerts?
No. No, I don't. We have a wonderful crew that have been with us for such a long time, and Ben, he's been with us since 9 years, 10 years, and he's now our stage manager, and he also sets up my drums and tunes them and makes them look pretty and sound nice, and yeah, he's amazing. So,
We were talking. I had a really nice chat with Katarina on Monday, and
mhm.
we had this incredible idea that we should have seven dwarfs to carry and on our drums. It was a really nice piece of the interview.
I
So
had an idea of like a blow up drum kit, you know, that you can just kind of
uh,
pull a cord, it'll go boop.
I love these things. I'm gonna. I love all these ideas. We had an idea for a festival. But we have this thing now, Fica em Casa, and now we
Yeah.
will have a festival. Fica na rua, go outside,
Oh
stay
yeah.
as soon as we can go.
Oh,
Festival Fica na rua.
yeah.
I think it will be great.
It would be
Uh,
amazing.
there are so many friends here, so many friends. I want to say hello to everybody because so many people I can't say hello to everybody. There's a drummer here. I'm sure I'll have him here very soon. Lencastre is asking you favorite drummers, as usual.
Favorite drummers? Well, Sheila E, of course. She's just an absolute legend. Karen Carpenter. Um, I love Chad Smith. And
Amazing.
Dave Grohl, actually. I was watching something on YouTube the other day. Like don't really know him that much as a drummer, apart from, Nirvana.
Mhm.
Um, but it was at Glastonbury, I think maybe in 2003, and he was playing with Queens of the Stone Age, and he was an animal. Oh my God. He was just like,
He's really natural and raw,
yeah,
raw. You know, a raw
yeah.
drummer. I love that thing about him. Like
So much energy, yeah.
it
Um, I love
works.
Ringo Starr as well. Because that kind of goes back to something we were talking about earlier about like, um, the comments that Paul McCartney would make that, oh yeah, Ringo Starr's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. And I
Oh,
just think like, what a dick, Paul McCartney. Like, like if like the Beatles had a different drummer, they would not be the Beatles and they probably wouldn't be as successful. Well, I'm just speculating. We'll
I
never
think
know.
I have a comment here for McCartney. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
No, I completely agree. I
Yeah.
mean, whatever it is, whatever the things he did, amazing.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about licks, like
Hmm.
drum licks.
Yeah.
Amazing. The
Yeah.
quantity of guys that made so much, so many. without having to build chops, like we were
Yeah.
saying. It is what it is. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's nice. You can be a chop drummer. It's okay. But
Mm.
it's true, I think so. After some 20 years in music, you
Yeah.
start to realize that you get more gigs and more work and more
Mm.
everything if you have a language, if you're smooth and you're musical, then if you
Yeah.
have chops, only chops. Because if you have chops, you need to be really like my teacher, Michael Lauren, used to say, if you want to be the fastest gun in the West, you better be the fastest.
Yeah.
That's a little bit the logic of like really intense and
Yeah.
speedy. Uh, I think it's much more for a
Hmm.
reality point of view, for a real point of view. So
Yeah.
let's check some more questions. I saw many questions. This is tough for me because I need to move all around like a DJ. I need I need a selector. So let's see. Some people were asking about so many questions. It's amazing, amazing. I
Thank you,
was talking
everyone.
about I had this idea about doing a week with three girls because so we have little drummers, drummer girls in Portugal, and
Mm.
I had many students, and you were talking about this just before. How do I how can I help without being like I don't need to like what you were saying about your teacher like okay
Mm.
go you're a girl you're a boy you don't need
Mm.
for me it's just a student it's a person but
Yeah.
I feel there are less drummer girls so I want to try to promote this I want to talk about this
Yeah.
and if I'm going to search for some questions but if you want to talk about this why we have so little and worldwide I think so and but I'm sure we'll have much more but what can we do to somehow beyond the natural thing that people need to grab their sticks and go and do it like you
Yeah.
did.
I don't know. I guess you've just got to kind of want to do it. You've got to, and you also need the role models as well. And I mean, I didn't have any role models. I mean, I didn't think that I would be a minority in the industry, or playing the drums and being a woman, I would be a minority. But I am, and I didn't even think about that until maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. It was only up until that point when everybody started to be like, everyone wanted to talk about it, and I'm like more than happy to talk about it. And there are lots, not lot. I mean, there are some female musicians that I know that wouldn't necessarily like to talk
Mhm.
about it because they just think, well, we want equality, so if we just, it's not even a conversation. And I understand that absolutely.
Mhm.
I've gone through those feelings, and I know what that feels like. But the kind of more mature I get, and the longer I'm in the industry, the more I think we need. I've said this before, and I think it's upset like some younger people, but I just think like we need positive discrimination, and
Mhm.
in the fact that you would give a drumming job to somebody because they are a woman.
Mhm.
Or, for example, I've had a few artists recently, in recent history, that who are male musicians, like a male just singer-songwriter, and they are actively looking for female musicians to be in their band. And that's positive discrimination in a way, isn't it? You're kind of like,
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm a female musician and I want an all male backing band. I'm not, I don't think it's kind of the same thing, but like if, for example, there's a British songwriter called Miles Kane, and his management reached out to me and asked if I would play the drums, and I was like, well, I can't, I've got metronome commitments, and then I asked them to be more specific and said, is it a female drummer that you're looking for? And they were like,
Mhm.
yes. And I was like, well, fine. Here you go. I've got like loads of emails I can give you for people. And if you just come with me straight away and tell me that's what you're looking for, then I would rather kind of point you in the right direction. And I just think because he's on such a big stage, especially in the UK, that he's got lots of young female fans, and they will see him perform and they will see, oh, there's a girl playing the drums, then
Mhm.
That's cool. I want to do that. So I think like you have to give women the jobs
Mhm.
in order for more younger, younger girls to think, to see it and think, I can do that, you know,
Yeah,
I guess.
great. You just saved me because like, oh, why are you doing a feminine wick? Like, well, you don't need to tell the word. No, that's the thing. It's tough
Yeah,
because how do we balance this? For me, it's
yeah,
natural. For me, there is no, but at the same time, it's just what you said. We need to make a
mm,
stand somehow,
yeah,
and without changing from from one thing to the other. Great,
yeah.
amazing answer.
Okay, great.
Another this one comes from a girl. It's one of my students actually. She's
Okay.
asking you about uh, creative processes. How do you build your beats to the beats and drums to the songs?
Mm.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, the way metronomy works is, I'm sure, I mean, it is very common knowledge that Joe is metronomy. So the singer is metronomy and he writes everything. So I'm not involved necessarily in the creative process. So the drums that I play live are beats that he's written.
Okay,
Obviously, he doesn't like, he wouldn't stop me if I wanted to embellish it somehow and make
not
it,
James Brown.
yeah, like if I just want to be like, oh, I'm just gonna put a little fill here, he's just like, yeah, cool. Like he doesn't care. Um, but when I'm playing alone, I'm very much like a basic 4/4 rock beat kind of girl. Um, and I like an offbeat, and yeah, I don't really know.
And
It's been
when
a
you
while since I've kind of, sorry to interrupt, it's been like a while since I've kind of properly sat behind a kit and like done something super creative just for myself because, metronomy has been my life for such a long time and we've been a band for 11 years now. So, we've just been touring constantly. Um, yeah, I don't really know how to answer that. I'm really sorry.
No, 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 no. I believe you just did. And
Okay.
my curiosity is about your DJ sets. Do you
hmm
create some beats, some musics? Do you just how? Because maybe you can talk about this.
Well, not currently.
Hmm.
I've always been a bit afraid of that. I don't know why. I I'm a
No,
bit,
I understand.
yeah, I never really understood music production and how to use the software. But recently I've kind of been feeling a lot more inspired by doing so much of the radio shows that I've been doing and DJ sets and live streams and like searching for music and like understanding what kind of makes me move and groove and in that genre. And it's definitely started to make me feel more inspired to do it. And I'm friends with some producers in Portugal who have a studio here, and
Great.
um, they're part of the Disco Texas family. Um, and I think eventually, once all this is kind of
What
disappeared,
brought
we will probably work together, and that would be really exciting because I'm more of a kind of collaborative person. Like I sitting alone and kind of doing stuff by myself. I don't know. I don't really get much joy from it. I like to kind of
I totally.
collaborate. Yeah.
I'm the same as you can see. Like I'm always inviting people to
Yeah.
crazy stuff,
Mm.
and this won't finish here. I'm always doing crazy stuff with.
Yeah.
I love this. I love to have a chat. I love to meet someone to record. I'm recording things and sending them somewhere else, and people
Yeah.
will enjoy the beats, and I love that. It's for me, it's a big part of this thing, having
hmm
fun with this. I was going to ask you what. I don't know if I can ask, but what brought you to Portugal? The
Well,
sun.
love, I guess.
Aha,
Yeah.
the classical story.
Yeah. But it is what it is, and I like it here, so I'm just gonna
Oh, great,
stay.
great.
I I have I have a resident permit now, so I'm officially they can't kick me out after Brexit, so
That was a
I'm
nice,
here.
that was a nice move.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a question about from Joanna. Joanna works very closely with me. can you talk to us about the chemistry between you and Oluk Benge live?
Oh yeah. I can't really describe it.
That's a nice question. That's a nice answer.
I can't really describe it at all. I mean, we've been together as a band for, like I said, 11 years, and we've played together for a heck of a long time and done millions of gigs, and yeah, it just kind of feels normal and it feels very natural. Like when you do something for a very, very long time, the exact same thing, and then you go and do it with you go and do something else with another person. It's a bit like a relationship. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it's a bit like Benga and I are married, and then I go and be in another band and I play with another bass player, and I'm like, yeah, this is great, but like
But,
you're a great
but,
bass player, but it's not. It's
but
different.
yeah,
It's a kind of an un. I
like
can't really
home,
describe
right?
it. Yeah,
Like home, like, okay, I'm home.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Oh, so cool. Yeah,
yeah.
I know what you mean. Because when you play with different people for a long time, it
Mm,
happens a lot. Like,
yeah,
oh, I'm in love. This
yeah,
baby, I'm in love. And
yeah,
sometimes, oh, this is not gonna go. This is not gonna work.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so many questions. I'm fighting here. So, boo, 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 boo. There was another question somewhere over the rainbow. Where? Whoops, whoops, whoops. Because some people ask their questions over here and I need to scroll. So,
Oh, in the comments. Yeah.
yep, it's a. Uh-huh. Okay, so. Let me check on the question marks. Bam. Okay, bands or artists that you're listening lately?
Hmm.
No
Um.
friends allowed it. No friends allowed. I'm kidding.
No friends allowed. Okay. Um. I'm terrible at like finding new music. I
No,
kind of, I don't know if it's my age, I don't know what, but like I just kind of love stuff from the past. Like um, I mean, it was Iggy Pop's birthday yesterday. I love him so much. So I can always put on a Stooges record or Iggy Pop record or like anything he's worked with, like with David Bowie or um Prince. Like those I mean, like those are my go-tos, and the Beatles, but like new stuff, I'm terrible. And I've got a really bad memory as well. So.
I know what you mean because lately I've been sitting here working, trying to put all the names of stuff that I'm listening because I'm doing
Mm,
this, and I know that it will come up, and then I'm
yeah.
like, oh, so I listen to so many musicians, drummers, but I don't know if it's age because I think before I used to know all the names like this guy. And now I'm like, oh, there's a guy, this guy. I don't know, I remember, but I
Yeah.
listen to so much. I listen to so different kinds of music.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, my music taste just spans like decades and like genres. It's just, yeah, it's
I
impossible.
have a question for you. I'm checking for more questions, but I have a funny tough one because
Okay.
when you say that you like to explore you like to explore a mission into the rhythmically unknown would you
Oh,
care to
well, yeah, I'm not really sure. I
you know
like I kind of love creating rhythms out of other people's songs. This is probably like to anyone that DJs or anyone that knows how to use CDJs, it's like it's probably just totally basic stuff, but I just love just mixing and like creating loops on the CDJs and just like I don't know, just mashing things together um and like kind of not I don't like to play the stuff that people would necessarily expect. you know, like the kind of more like I enjoy techno and I do it I like it a lot actually, but like for me it's not very rhythmically exciting. I mean, that's probably a very ignorant thing to say because there are so many subgenres of techno and there's probably like some really
No,
amazing
but
stuff. But
and
yeah, yeah, I just kind of like to create like little loops and like sometimes I'll when I'm doing my radio show when I'm in London, I'll have created some kind of loop with something that's going on over here and then something over here, and I'm just like, oh yeah, sounds wicked. And then it'll be like a minute, and I'm like, oh shit, like they're still looping, you know, because I'm just like, yeah,
that is the experience.
yeah, exactly,
But it's really nice because I believe that's pretty much what I understand from a drummer or I love doing that. Like if the band or the project or the creator is
mm,
open, because when people tell you, I tend not to like very much when people invite you and they already have all the drums are recorded, completely recorded. Okay, if they pay well,
yeah, yeah,
I will do that.
yeah,
But it's always, I don't know, it's not the same as just I love recording with bands when they say do what you want, and I love that. It's like
yeah,
playing. It's like I'm gonna play with this. I'm gonna do this and that. Put this symbol or that symbol. And the idea that you just gave, something I believe, and I believe it's kind of how do you say this? It's a taboo
yeah,
between drummers that keeping time isn't, in my opinion, humble opinion, isn't always playing like the full pattern. It's just
mm,
what you said, like a little bit here, a little bit there. Like for example, Juliana does a lot of that beat stuff, like crazy, go here, go there, stop,
yeah,
start again. And I think that's really interesting because if you're feeling the time and if you keep
mm,
the time somehow, everything is kind of possible if it
yeah.
works for everybody. I think it's a very interesting idea for me.
Yeah, and even when we're playing as a band, when we're playing live, um, there are songs we've been playing for years, and you know, I don't necessarily change it up, but I don't think I've ever played. There'll be songs that I haven't played the same, you know, and I swear, like the guys in the band, they never say anything, but like I'll just play it. I'll be like, oh, I didn't do that last night. That was weird. Like, oh, okay. Or you know, if you've got like a bar of eight and you just kind of you're supposed to be doing the same thing, and then repeat it. And then I don't know. I'll change a kick drum. I'll put a kick in a different place, or you know, add a cymbal or a choke in that on the hi hat or something. I don't know. It's your prerogative, isn't it? As a drummer, you just kind of do what you want because
Yeah, yeah, I
because you
think
can't
so.
really do it wrong in terms of you can't play a wrong note,
Mhm.
and you just have to make sure you're playing in time with the other musicians. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think this is another question that musicians. I did this joke with my YouTube channel. Like, what do musicians want from drummers? So it's a kind of a twist
yeah,
for the joke, and because I think that's a real kind of a prejudice that they have. Like, oh, you're this is a shuffle and you did something different. Um, okay, I understand
mm,
what you need. I understand you need detect, you need,
mm,
but I'm a drummer. A drummer is more than that.
yeah,
If it's valid, if it's coherent,
hmm,
uh, if it's not like something that breaks the band apart,
yeah,
why not? I mean, why not?
exactly. Because everyone's got their own personality, haven't they? Like every
I
drummer is completely
I
different.
I think it's good. Like, of course, with some balance, of course,
Mhm.
musically, but I totally forward. But still, many people think like, nope, no, no,
Yeah.
do the bar, do the bar, do the bar. It's all the same.
Mm.
They're like, find a laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm searching for many, many, many. Oh, so there was a there was a little question, funny question also from
Hmm.
João. She's just asking you. Many people ask this: if you still get anxious or stressed or
Yes.
nervous for a gig.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's terrible. Oh my God. I I don't know. I didn't used to be like that. The This sounds really silly, but I'm sure some people can relate, maybe musicians, performing musicians, that the more people there are in the crowd, the less scary it is. But if you're playing to a small crowd,
Mhm.
it's it's just like impossible. I'm so scared. I don't know why. I think it's because all of a sudden it becomes, when you're playing to a big crowd, it's, oh,
It's a
this,
mass.
I don't want to say this and for it to, for people to be offended, but it becomes a bit faceless. You know, you can see the
Mhm.
first
Of
like
course.
5 or 6 rows of people, and then it's kind of just like arms and phones and whatever.
Yes.
Um, yeah, the front, like people on the front row really make me nervous. Like not because I'm afraid of them or what they will do, but I just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do get really nervous. I didn't used to warm up. Like for years, I never warmed up. I was just like, oh, it's gonna be fine, like whatever. But I had to start like properly warming up and like go for a little walk around the dressing room, or like, I don't drink alcohol before stage anymore. I used to because I thought it would calm my nerves, but it doesn't really.
It doesn't
Um,
work.
yeah, so I save the alcohol for after the show if I'm having a drinking day, I guess. Um, but yeah, I do get nervous. Yeah.
Great. And then when you do something different on the bar and you go backstage and you're hoping for that drink, they kept it all from you. Like
Yeah.
they,
Stop it.
no drinks for you
No
tonight.
drinks.
Just do the bar.
Yeah.
There's someone saying, oh, someone saying that McCartney never said it. Jasper
Oh.
Carrot, comedian, said it. Okay, so the
Oh,
truth is
I didn't know
here.
that.
Okay, but someone said it. Okay.
Someone said it.
There's mix. Someone's asking about the DJ. I think I lost it. If you,
Mixmaster Mike.
yeah, okay, okay. I don't know. They want to know your opinion, or if you do.
Joe asked him to do some scratching on a Metronomy record on Summer '08. Old, is it Old School? Yeah, it was a song called Old School, and he sent it to Mixmaster Mike. I think he's in LA, and he did some like,
Okay,
he's all right. I don't really have an opinion, to be honest.
we have some more truth. Being Sonia is a Portuguese drummer. She's saying that we have a lot of Portuguese female drummers actually. I would really, really, really thank you if you can write here on the questions, if you can write all the names, because I think I was talking about the majority, the big majority, I
Hmm.
believe are men. But if you can help me, Sonia, I would thank you so much because
Yeah, put
uh,
at them on the in the comments if they have
yeah, that would be
Instagram.
great.
Yeah.
Please, please. So more. Okay, some many questions you already answered. Uh, okay, someone is saying that drumming was great in Seattle, the
Thank
Showbox.
you.
Okay. Seattle. Hi from Brazil. Hello,
Hi, Brazil.
Brazil. Um, air drum battle.
Ah,
Mhm. Well, I know that when this finishes, I will have some ideas for many things that happen here. Many people are saying hello. Mulinex is here.
well, hello.
Some friends. Flor, hello. Flor is a singer from Madeira. So many people. Hello to everyone.
Oh,
Okay, so
wow.
Flor has a question. I've seen Anna both as a drummer and as a DJ. I was wondering if rhythm is the common ground for these two passions, and if the notion of it makes it easier for Anna.
Good question, because I thought about this the other day. Being a drummer and being a DJ, it's almost made my life harder being a DJ because I'm so obsessed with everything being in time. But when you're beat matching and like something like you're like constantly like analyzing, like, oh my God, it's out. And then like everyone's like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? You know, I'm just practicing and like, I don't know. I'm always yeah, it's kind of made it worse for me in a way. I've become more of a perfectionist. Like it has to be like right on the money, you know. It's got to be like, you know, yeah. So I get really nervous that something's out of time, and it's probably not. It's fine.
I would love you know, I've been most of my uh, drumming life has been very roots oriented, like acoustics, really, like you said, you were saying old school 70s,
Yeah,
doing it, the human factor. But
yeah,
lately, I was never much into dance music or whatever, but lately I've been, I was in the supermarket this week and it was just like, you know, everybody's there with masks, everybody's like, oh, and suddenly the song is dum, dum, da, 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 when the going gets tough, you know, and I was like, oh, the toughs get
get
going, and
going.
I'm dancing to this. I'm like, I need to dance. Lately, I want to dance all the time, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
really into
great.
the dance because I understood it finally. I dropped all those things that we've been talking about, like, oh, come on. Whenever a DJ would say, I'm gonna be playing, and I was like, ah, you're not playing, you're a DJ.
Yeah,
But then, come on, like it's the beat, it's the taste, it's the gathering. It's amazing,
yeah.
isn't it?
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I can't wait to go out again.
What
Go
are the
dancing.
similarities and the differences, if there are any, when you're on stage as a DJ or a drummer? What do you feel? What are the different vibes?
I mean, when you DJ, you're usually alone unless you're with a friend doing a back to back. But uh, when I'm on stage with the guys in the band, I'm there and I'm with them, and I'm at the back of the stage. I'm at the back, and they're at the front, and they kind of shield me from whatever fears I have of being on stage. And like I said, we've been together for 11 years, so you know, it's very comfortable being there. Um, Even though I get nervous. But like when you're DJing, you're kind of everyone's looking at you, or that maybe they're not. Maybe people that so there's lots of people that don't look at the DJ. Um, and I've had people say to me, you know, you need to look up more, you need to look at the crowd, and I'm like, do I have to? I don't know. Like, what is DJing? How much of it is a performance? You know, you performing. You know, like, I mean, like there are DJs like Steve Aoki or Diplo, you know, the big guys that would just kind of like go and jump off speakers and like have a microphone and like say, yeah, come on.
Fire.
But like ultimately, you're kind of there to provide a soundtrack for people's nights, and I guess it's up to the DJ if they feel like they want to perform or not. I mean, obviously, you're not just going to stand there completely still. You're going to be moving and like banging your head and stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
But really different. Sometimes I imagine myself as a DJ and I would be like, oh, or I would be completely to myself, or I
Yeah,
would be completely crazy. Like I would leave everything and go and drink with people and come back and go and yeah,
yeah,
you know, because but it's tough. When you're playing, for example, sometimes if I have a workshop or whatever and I'm alone, it's
hmm
really awkward for a drummer to be. I love it. I love speaking to people and it's okay for me. But in the beginning, it was like, okay, it's only me and I love having a band. I love being with people.
me too. Yeah,
To be alone, it's backstage and nothing is as fun.
yeah,
Traveling, having dinner, being in the hotels and stuff. It's
yeah,
always here for me with more people. I don't like it so much when you're like alone. It's like, oh,
yeah, exactly. It's true.
um, there's a there's a question. Loving the drum camp videos on YouTube. Where
Cool.
did the idea came from, and any plans to do more of them, potentially when playing in different settings?
Yes. Well, I had the idea at the start of this year. No, it wasn't the start of this year at all. That's a huge lie. It was like in the summer last year. Somebody, one of our crew members had a GoPro, and I was like, oh, maybe we could record, set it up behind the drums, like, because like there's so many YouTube tutorials about drumming and like drum covers and stuff, and I love watching them. So just maybe there are some curious drummers, or you don't even need to be a drummer to be curious about what goes on behind the drum kit. And I think it's nice to show the people in the crowd like a different perspective of the gig, you know, what it's like to be me and sit there and like and play. So I was playing around with angles and stuff, but I only really kind of started getting into it this year. So we did our tour in America, in North America, at the end of January, and we got back in March. And my plan was for the European tour, which got postponed, was to do one every night on the European tour, but obviously
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't do that anymore, and I don't have a drum kit in my apartment, so yeah, I can't keep it up, sadly. But yeah, there's a few on there, and I did most of them when we were in Mexico in February, the end of February, because the crowd there, they were amazing. It was so great. It was so much fun, such a great gig. And the camera that I had, it screwed up, and the angle wasn't the angle that I'd set it up at during sound check. But in a way, it's almost better, because you can't really see the snare drum. You can see like the very top of the snare, but you can see so much of the crowd.
Okay.
And I just thought that was really nice for, like, I don't know, even as like a reminder for me, for posterity, you know, to look back and just think, wow, look at all those people we played to, you know. Yeah, I want to do
Great.
more. I'm going to do more for sure, but just
Okay.
I can't right now.
We will be we will be expecting it. I
Okay,
think
great.
we're around 52 minutes, just to
Yeah.
let you know, because I hate when this stuff tells me
Oh
like
yeah.
10 seconds, 9 seconds. It's like,
Oh
I always say it's like Mission Impossible, like
yeah.
mm, it's like to say hello, to say goodbye,
Yeah.
and hello and goodbye and whatever. There was one more little question. If you have any kind of rituals before the shows, if you always do some kind of, did you
Well,
care?
I mean, we do. I mean, I do warm-ups with sticks. I'll do like a few rudiments, but I will do it like on a towel or on a pillow, because I don't like to. I like to kind of work for the rebound, you know, like
Okay.
rather than just doing it on something that's really bouncy. I'll do that maybe half an hour before stage time. And then I book like an hour before that, I'll start putting makeup on, I'll put my lipstick on, I'll start to sort of feel, you know, like I'm going to work. Like I'm like, yes, I'm going to put glitter on, red lips, like maybe do something with my hair. Like it's all this kind of preparation. Um, we this is probably too much information, but like everyone just has the pre-show nerves, and you know it makes you want to go for a wee. It makes you want to go shishi. So like everyone's like, right, 5 minutes, okay, go for a wee, emergency wee time, and then yeah, we go on stage. It's just stupid stuff, but we've been together for ages, so
But it's the same here. It's always the same. It's like eating, being sure you have water, you have to
yeah.
go to the loo. As you say to the loo
Yeah,
is
the loo. Yeah, that's very English. Um, I don't like to drink so much liquid before I go on stage, because well, we play for 90 minutes now, and there's no chance to kind of get up and then and go
has it
and
happened
relieve
to you?
yourself
Has it, I had once a very difficult situation. I was really, really,
on
really
the
so
edge.
going out.
Ah,
It's like, what can I do? Did this happen to you? Like, I have to go, I have to go.
no.
The beer, when you drink beer and it's hot,
Yeah,
summer festivals, you're distracted and you're drinking
yeah,
from all the afternoon, and then you don't think about it. And then when you're playing and you think about it, like,
yeah.
oh, usually doesn't it's not a problem. But
Mm.
once I was really stressed, I was really like, I need to
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I mean, like
Uh,
when Joe used to smoke, he's quit now. He's been quit for maybe 2 or 3 years, but there'd be a moment in the set where he would, I think when we played Boy Races, he doesn't sing, so he went off stage, and you could just see him like sometimes outside like a fire exit, just like in a little fag.
I know. Many people do this when you have gigs that sometimes everybody goes and the singer stays. People do the
Yeah,
crazy things. They're smoking and speaking. It's like, ah,
yeah.
yeah, first song, and I was like, shh, come on, everybody get, ah.
Oh my biggest, I hate it when people do this at festivals, when you're on stage, and then there's like, yeah, I know there's like maybe five other bands that need to set up, but the
Yeah.
drummer will be behind, just like, poof, poof. Dude, I'm working, like,
Easy. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
know, I know.
I hate it.
And
I
people
just
tend
think
to,
it's rude,
yeah, yeah.
but
It's so easy to set up everything just before and then you just
yeah,
go and everything is ready
yeah,
and you know what to do.
yeah.
But, well, I want to say hello to Hugo Danin. He's here. He's always honoring us. He's a great drummer from Portugal.
Great.
He's liking to listen. He's always honoring us with his presence. So many people. There's a question here from Joanne, a nice question that I think it's a nice question. She's asking about this is a more social context, and I
Mm,
think we have 5 minutes
hmm.
about living in the UK and living now here.
Mm.
How about socially or professionally? What things are Which things are different in working, living,
Um,
the good
does,
and the
does,
bad?
does she mean like the difference between living in the UK and living in Portugal, I
Yes.
guess? For me, there's not, my life isn't that different because like wherever you go in the world you will find that army of people that are like you. So like, you know, the friends that I have here, they're exactly like my friends in the UK, my English friends, or like if I go to Los Angeles, like, or New York, like you always find your tribe basically. Like if you're living in alignment with what feels good to you, then this sounds really hippie, but like if you're kind of giving that out, then the people will come to you that you should be hanging out with, basically. Um, like, I mean, the weather's better here, obviously, and the beer is nice price. It's cheap. It's nice. It's tasty. I get to go see the football, which I don't do in London. Um, I like the food here as well. I love eating pregos and bifanas and all the kind of proper bacalhau.
Really, it's really tricky because so many food.
Yeah.
Um, we have 1 minute,
Uh,
so if you would like to, I saw so many funny stuff going on here. People asking you like, "You've moved to Portugal?" Like, are your friends, or maybe some are your friends that they still don't know. Like,
maybe my
what are
mum.
you?
My mum's in there, like,
You moved?
yeah.
So I would like to thank you so much again because it's so interesting and so necessary. I would say to do this stuff because
Yeah.
it's just 1 hour of our lives and we're
Hmm.
sharing so many stuff with so many
Yeah.
people and friends and people that love you and they
Hmm.
follow you. So
Well,
if you
thank
want to
you.
leave a 50 seconds goodbye, and I thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks, Rui, for having me. It was nice to kind of take myself out of this, whatever's going on, and actually just talk about drums and talk about the past and talk about the future. And yeah, so that's been really exciting. And thanks for the questions. Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Hope to meet you someday soon.
You're in
Some
Porto, right?
Braga near Porto.
Braga, sorry. North. Oh, sorry. Okay, bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Stay well.
Ciao.
See you.